protests in Iran following the death of Mahsa Amini. We are reminded of similar protests back in 2020 when Ukrainian flight PS-752 was shot down by an Iranian missile shortly after taking off from Tehran on January 8th. All 176 people on board were, in fact, killed. Iran initially denied that it was one of their missiles at all and has continued to block a full investigation. Back with me now is Babak Payami and Esmaeilion, director and subject of the film 752 is Not a Number. And amidst all of these widespread protests, I do want to talk about the politics surrounding them all. Hamed, talk to me about how you have emerged kind of as this voice, it seems. You have expanded beyond the conversation of what happened to your wife and daughter to talk more about the protests that are ongoing in Iran. Why is that? What's driving you?
You know, as I said, we see each other. We see actually the PS-752 as a link in the chain of the crimes. And after they downed the plane, they didn't stop committing crimes. They killed Navid Afkari, who was a wrestling champion. They killed a reporter. And there was a crackdown of the unrest in south of Iran, in Khuzestan. And when they killed Mahsa Amini, we couldn't stay silent. We couldn't stay aside. And we saw that people are, the young generation in Iran, the women as leaders of this revolution are in the streets and they're fighting with the regime. So the only thing we could do was to echo the voices to the politicians in the Western countries and to the media. And we tried to do our duty to echo that voice.
I want to play a little bit of you at a rally. I believe it was in Canada most recently, just a couple of months ago, surrounding the protests that were happening outside of Iran.
Listen and hear the rumblings of revolution in Iran. This is the will of the Iranian people, and it will come to fruition. The Iranian people will never forgive the supporters and appeasers of their oppressors. The Iranian people will bring to justice the murderers of their children. The Iranian people will never forget, nor shall they ever forgive.
And of course, everybody knows that chant by now, woman, life, freedom. Babak, did you expect Hamed the activist to emerge from this documentary, from what he has been through over the last couple of years, seeing this progression that he has gone through in searching for justice on behalf of his wife and daughter?
Well, you can imagine, once we set out to make the film, there was, first of all, my personal attachment with Hamed and the sense of kinship that we had. But also, to tell this story, I had to identify who best would be the example to tell the bigger story. And Hamed's background, along with the chemistry that we had together, I felt I couldn't for the life of me imagine that he would become a world figure. I wanted to, through this film, make sure that the world would not forget about him and the story. But how history unfolds, sometimes cinema and history and reality sort of converge in amazing ways. And what has happened, I think, for the families, the fight for justice that Hamed and the families have relentlessly maintained over the last 3 years, against all odds, was a perfect example and an inspiration for what's happening on a much broader scale inside Iran.
I was emotional watching some of that clip on YouTube earlier today, Hamed, because of realizing what you had been through to get there, right? You were only standing there because you lost your wife and daughter. Had that not happened, you wouldn't be standing there, and yet so many people were there following you, listening to you. When you look at what's happening inside of Iran, what do you make of it? And what does the global community, you had some asks at that very rally, what does the global community need to do?
We have had several demands, and I think this is what Iranian people want. We hear from Iran that, for example, they want the Western countries to stop any negotiation with the Islamic Republic of Iran. At the middle of this chaos, at the middle of this revolution, when they hang an innocent man after like 73 days ago, he was arrested, and they hanged him just like 2 days ago. And this 500 people that they got killed by Islamic regime. So we demand that these Western countries, they expel the ambassadors of Iranian regime all over the world. We also want them to act against the Iranian, like the Islamic Republic agents and the oligarchs that they are in Western countries. Do the same thing that you did to the Russian oligarchs. I mean, when people are getting killed in Iran, when the negotiation had no result for Western countries, why they continue to negotiate with the Islamic Republic of Iran? This is a big question out there, and nobody answers this question.
What else needs to happen?
Iranian people usually they don't ask Western countries to interfere in their country. This is a proud nation. But they can do things that are very effective to help this revolution move forward. And a world without the Islamic Republic of Iran is a safer place to live.
The film is up for Oscar contention, Babak, so congratulations on that. It is an incredible film. And I know, Hamed, currently there is a court case happening right now in Iran. Do you have any expectations of any justice coming out of that?
No way. You know, all of a sudden, out of the blue, they have sent invitation letters to the families yesterday that they're going to hold the court on this Thursday, 15th of December. And in the absence of the concrete action of the 4 affected countries, Islamic Republic is moving his narrative forward. So we expect these 4 countries to come forward and take them to an international forum. At the same time, that Islamic Republic tries to close the case in a sham trial. We need condemnation from the free world. We need reaction. And also, we know that the families in Iran, they won't be silent against this kind of sham trials they're holding in Iran.
Do you expect Iran, Babak, to go back to anything like it was even 3 months ago?
No. I think this is historic. I think the leadership of the Iranian women and the Iranian youth is inspiring to the world. And I don't think that this is going to fizzle out, as some may say. And the Iranian people have had it with this regime. And I think the international community has to understand, using Ukraine and Russia as an example, as a wake-up call, that it's going to blow up in our face if we don't stand on the right side of history. And that's what I've been trying to portray in this documentary, about the struggles that the individual has to go through and what justice means. And diplomacy is not just about negotiation. It's a multidimensional endeavor that human rights and justice and democratic values play as important a role in the process as negotiations out of expediency. And I hope that Ukraine and Russia will be a good example for the world to understand how to deal with Iran and its Islamic Republic of Iran and its oligarchs.
Hamed Esmaeilion, thank you so much. Babak Payami, thank you as well. Congratulations again for your film being up for Oscar contention. Again, the documentary is called 752 is Not a Number. If you're in Toronto, you can check it out in theaters right now, but the film will be widely available on iTunes on January 7th. My best to both of you.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back.